Hello and welcome to Speak Up, your ultimate destination for mastering English in a way that makes every minute count. I'm Ryan, and I'd like to start by thanking you for choosing to spend your time with us today. We truly value your commitment, and we're here to ensure that the moments you invest in listening are both enriching and transformative. Have you ever found yourself pondering how some individuals manage to expand their vocabulary so naturally, effortlessly sounding like native speakers, even when they're just beginning their journey? Today, we're unlocking those secrets. In this episode, we're exploring 7 simple strategies to expand your English vocabulary. Strategies that range from targeted reading habits to engaging with idioms and phrases in a way that enhances your everyday communication. Whether you're looking to learn English fast, or you're at the stage of English for beginners, these actionable tips are designed to empower you to speak English confidently and build a robust vocabulary. So, settle in as we dive into techniques that promise to turn your language learning journey into a series of quality, effective moments.
Hi everyone, I'm Priya, and I'm delighted you're here with us on Speak Up. Thank you for investing your time with us. We promise that every second you listen will be a step toward greater fluency and confidence. Imagine being able to overcome the hesitation of speaking English and effortlessly incorporate new words into your daily conversations. Today, we're presenting 7 simple strategies to expand your English vocabulary that will guide you through practical, everyday methods. From immersive reading practices and innovative flashcard techniques to exploring common idioms and phrases in context, we're sharing insights that serve as your personal English vocabulary builder. This episode is perfect for anyone eager to learn English fast or those embarking on the journey as English for beginners. We're here to make sure that your time with us is not only educational, but also genuinely enjoyable. So, join us as we embark on this insightful exploration, turning your listening experience into a quality investment in your language skills.
Let's first talk about one of the most powerful yet often overlooked ways to expand your vocabulary: reading with purpose. Many people think that just reading more will automatically improve their English, but the truth is, it's not just about the number of pages you turn. It's about how you engage with the words. If you want to build a strong vocabulary for daily English conversation, you need to be intentional about what and how you read. Books, news articles, blogs, even short online stories. All of these can introduce you to new words in context, helping you understand their real-world usage instead of just memorizing definitions.
That's such an important point. Purposeful reading helps you see words in action, which is essential for improving English fluency. And the best part? You don't have to read complex literature or academic journals. If you're an English beginner, you can start with children's books or simple blogs. If you're more advanced, try novels or business articles. The key is to choose materials that challenge you just enough to learn something new without feeling overwhelmed. Plus, this method aligns perfectly with the idea of learning English with stories, where words naturally become part of your vocabulary through context rather than forced memorization.
Exactly. And here's a practical tip. Set aside at least 20 minutes a day for reading, but do it actively. That means highlighting new words, making a note of their meanings, and even trying to use them in your conversations. This simple habit acts as a natural English vocabulary builder because you're not just reading passively, you're absorbing and applying new words. And remember, if you ever struggle with understanding a word, don't just rely on translations. Try to guess its meaning based on the surrounding text before checking a dictionary.
That's a great exercise because it trains your brain to think in English instead of constantly translating. Another useful technique is to read aloud. This improves pronunciation and makes you more comfortable using new words. If you pair this with listening to audiobooks or podcasts, like this one, you'll get double the exposure to new vocabulary. So if you're looking for a way to learn English fast and effectively, purposeful reading is one of the best strategies to start with.
Now that we've talked about purposeful reading, let's move on to another highly effective strategy, using flashcards and mobile apps to expand your English vocabulary. A lot of people struggle with memorizing new words because they learn them once and then forget them after a few days. That's where flashcards and vocabulary apps come in. They use a technique called spaced repetition, which means you review words at strategic intervals, just before you're about to forget them. This helps you retain vocabulary long-term instead of cramming and then losing it.
Absolutely. And the best part is that technology has made this process easier than ever. There are so many great apps out there designed to help you learn English fast by making vocabulary building fun and interactive. Apps like Anki, Quizlet, and Memrise allow you to create personalized digital flashcards so you can focus on the words that matter most to you. Plus, many of these apps include images, audio pronunciations, and example sentences, which make it easier to remember words and use them correctly in conversations.
That's a great point. And if you want to take it a step further, here's a quick tip. Whenever you learn a new word, don't just add it to your flashcard deck. Write a sentence using that word and say it out loud. This not only reinforces your memory, but also helps you practice using new vocabulary naturally. If you combine this with daily reviews, you'll notice a significant improvement in your ability to recall words and use them in real-life conversations. That's why this technique is one of the best tips to memorize English words effectively.
Exactly. And to make the most of this strategy, set a reminder to review your flashcards at least twice a day, once in the morning and once before bed. This simple habit will help solidify new vocabulary in your mind. Also, don't just rely on pre-made flashcard decks. Make your own. When you create your own flashcards, you engage with the words more deeply, making it easier to remember them. So, whether you're an absolute beginner or someone looking to refine your skills, leveraging flashcards and mobile apps is a fantastic way to boost your vocabulary and improve your English fluency.
Now that we've covered reading and using flashcards, let's dive into another incredibly powerful way to expand your vocabulary, immersing yourself in English media, especially podcasts and audiobooks. One of the biggest challenges English learners face is understanding how words are actually used in real-life conversations. Reading teaches you new words, but listening helps you hear how native speakers pronounce them, where they pause, and how they use different expressions naturally. That's why English podcasts for learning and audiobooks are such great tools for improving your vocabulary while also sharpening your listening skills.
Absolutely. When you expose yourself to English media regularly, you're not just learning individual words. You're understanding the rhythm and flow of the language. Plus, you get to hear different accents and styles of speaking, which is especially helpful if you struggle to understand native speakers. Listening to audiobooks is another fantastic way to absorb new vocabulary because the narration is usually clear and expressive, making it easier to follow along. This is why English listening exercises using real-life content can be just as effective as traditional study methods, if not more.
That's a great point. And here's a practical tip. Make listening a daily habit. Whether you're commuting, working out, or even cooking, try to incorporate English listening practice into your routine. Whenever you hear a new word, jot it down in a notebook or a notes app on your phone. Later, look up its meaning and try using it in a sentence. This simple habit not only helps you expand your vocabulary, but also makes learning English feel effortless and natural.
Exactly. And if you want to take it a step further, try the shadowing technique, where you listen to a podcast or audiobook and repeat what the speaker says, imitating their pronunciation and intonation. This will not only improve your speaking skills, but also help you remember new words faster. So, whether you're looking for real-life English conversations to learn from, or structured English listening exercises, surrounding yourself with English media is a fun and effective way to boost your vocabulary and fluency.
Now, let's talk about a powerful technique that not only helps you remember new vocabulary, but also improves your pronunciation and fluency, the shadowing technique. If you've ever wondered how to speak English confidently and sound more natural, this method is for you. The idea is simple. You listen to a native speaker and repeat what they say, trying to match their pronunciation, rhythm, and intonation as closely as possible. This is one of the best ways to train your ears and tongue to get comfortable with spoken English.
Exactly. Shadowing works because it forces you to process English in real time. You're not just passively listening, you're actively engaging with the language. Plus, it helps reduce hesitation because your brain starts to associate words with their correct pronunciation and usage instantly. If you've ever struggled with how to speak English without hesitation, this technique can really help. The key is to practice regularly and focus on imitating native speakers as accurately as possible.
That's right. And here's a simple exercise to get started. Pick a short audio clip, maybe from an English podcast or a YouTube video, and listen carefully. Pause after each sentence and repeat exactly what you heard. Try to mimic not just the words, but also the tone and speed. At first, it might feel a bit challenging, but with consistent practice, you'll notice a huge improvement in your fluency. This technique is widely used in English accent training as well, helping learners sound more natural over time.
And if you want to take it a step further, record yourself while shadowing. Then, listen to your recording and compare it with the original audio. This will help you identify areas where you need improvement, whether it's pronunciation, speed, or clarity. So, if your goal is to master the shadowing technique for fluency and boost your confidence in speaking English, start practicing today. The more you do it, the easier it will be to recall and use new vocabulary naturally in conversations.
Let's now explore how engaging in daily English conversations can transform the way you learn and retain new vocabulary. When you use new words in real-life interactions, whether chatting with friends, discussing ideas with family members, or connecting with language partners online, you shift from passive learning to active communication. This practice not only cements the words in your memory, but also helps you understand their natural usage and context. By incorporating these conversations into your routine, you create an environment that encourages you to speak English confidently, allowing you to overcome the fear of speaking English. Even if you're someone who feels more reserved, remember that there are methods specifically designed for English practice for introverts. Consistent, everyday dialogue is one of the most effective ways to ensure that your vocabulary expands organically, making each conversation a stepping stone toward fluency.
To put this into practice, let's dive into a brief role-play example that shows how everyday conversation can naturally integrate new vocabulary. Imagine I start by saying, "Hey Ryan, I just discovered a fascinating new cafe that serves an extraordinary blend of flavors. You should check it out." You might reply, "That sounds amazing, Priya. I'm always looking for unique spots that offer a delightful ambiance and innovative menu options." In this exchange, notice how each of you uses fresh words and descriptive phrases without feeling forced, making the conversation engaging and fluid. This kind of daily English conversation not only enriches your vocabulary, but also helps you gradually overcome any hesitation in speaking. Whether you're practicing with a friend or joining an online language group, these interactions build your confidence and reinforce your learning in a natural, enjoyable way.
Building on that, I encourage you to seek out opportunities to speak English every day, no matter how small the interaction may seem. Consider joining local meetups or virtual discussion groups where you can practice these conversational skills in a supportive setting. Regularly conversing in English allows you to experiment with new vocabulary in a variety of contexts, ensuring that each word you learn finds its rightful place in your everyday communication. Over time, these interactions will significantly boost your confidence and help you feel more at ease when speaking English, transforming initial nervousness into natural fluency. Remember, every conversation is a chance to refine your skills and build lasting language habits.
And don't forget to reflect on your experiences after each conversation. Take a moment to jot down any new words or phrases you encountered and try to incorporate them into your next discussion. This reflective practice is especially beneficial for learners who prefer a structured approach, such as English practice for introverts, as it allows you to review and internalize what you've learned without pressure. Over time, these mindful efforts will not only expand your vocabulary, but also enhance your overall communication skills. Embrace every opportunity to interact in English, and soon enough you'll find that speaking English confidently is no longer a challenge, but a natural part of your day-to-day life.
Continuing our journey to expand your English vocabulary, let's dive into another indispensable strategy: maintaining a dedicated vocabulary journal. Imagine having your very own English vocabulary builder right at your fingertips. a personalized notebook where you capture every new word you encounter, along with its definition and a sample sentence that puts it into context. This isn't just about writing words down, it's a powerful method that transforms passive recognition into active usage. By spending just a few minutes each day updating your journal, you reinforce your memory and gradually integrate these words into your everyday conversations and writing. This practice also provides excellent tips to memorize English words because you're engaging multiple senses, writing, reading, and even speaking the words as you review them. Moreover, maintaining a journal can significantly improve your writing skills, allowing you to see firsthand how your vocabulary expands over time. It's a simple yet transformative habit that sets the stage for long-term language success.
That's so true, Ryan. I've noticed that when learners take the time to record their new vocabulary, they don't just remember definitions, they truly understand the context in which those words belong. One practical tip I always recommend is to set aside a specific time each day to update your journal, whether it's first thing in the morning or before you wind down for the night. Another great approach is to categorize your entries by themes, such as travel, technology, or everyday life. This not only makes it easier to recall words later on, but also reinforces connections between related terms. For example, if you're learning words related to cooking or dining, grouping them together helps solidify the context, making it easier to remember and use them during a meal discussion or even in a blog post. By following these methods, you naturally enhance your skills and make the process of building vocabulary both structured and enjoyable. An effective way to improve English writing skills and serve as your personal English vocabulary builder.
Exactly, Priya. Let's talk about making your vocabulary journal interactive and truly beneficial. Instead of just listing words and their meanings, try incorporating sentences or short stories that use the new vocabulary. This exercise not only reinforces your understanding of each word, but also helps you practice constructing sentences, another crucial element of effective communication. For instance, when you come across an interesting word while reading or during a conversation, jot it down along with a sentence that resonates with your daily experience. Over time, these entries evolve into a comprehensive resource that you can review regularly. This method is especially helpful because it ties in practical tips to memorize English words while also refining your overall language skills. Your journal becomes a living document that mirrors your growth, making it easier to recall vocabulary when you need it most, and even helping you think in English more naturally.
Absolutely, Ryan. Consistency is key when it comes to keeping a vocabulary journal. I recommend choosing a quiet moment during your day, perhaps after breakfast or right before bed, where you can reflect on the new words you encountered. Even if it's just for a few minutes, that focused time can make a huge difference over weeks and months. As you progress, challenge yourself to create more elaborate sentences or even connect multiple new words in a coherent paragraph. This way, you're not only memorizing definitions, but also learning to use them in context, which is crucial for real-life communication. Over time, reviewing your journal will reveal a clear trajectory of your learning progress, inspiring you to continue striving for fluency. So, embrace this habit as both a practical tool and a creative outlet. A personal space where your journey to master English unfolds day by day.
Let's now delve into the last and one of the most exciting strategies for expanding your vocabulary: exploring idioms, phrases, and contextual learning. One of the great advantages of learning English idioms and phrases is that they reveal the subtle nuances and cultural intricacies of the language. When you study idiomatic expressions, you're not just memorizing words, you're learning how native speakers think and express themselves naturally. This method helps you understand the hidden meanings behind everyday conversations, which in turn makes it easier for you to think in English. By seeing how words and expressions are used in context, you're better able to grasp their meanings and remember them long term. This approach also ensures that you can understand native English speakers when they use these expressions in real-life scenarios, providing a practical boost to both your listening and speaking skills.
Absolutely, Ryan. Contextual learning plays a pivotal role in how we process and retain new language information. When you encounter a phrase in the middle of a conversation, in a movie, or even during a podcast, you see it applied in real situations, which makes the learning process much more organic and intuitive. I highly recommend watching movies or series. Think of resources like Learn English with Movies Netflix, because they offer a treasure trove of real-life English idioms and phrases. As you listen to these shows, pause and jot down unfamiliar expressions. Not only does this practice help in building your vocabulary, but it also trains you to think in English rather than translating in your head, a skill that significantly improves fluency and comprehension.
That's a fantastic point, Priya. Let's consider a practical tip. Compare how certain idioms are used in British English versus American English. For example, the British might say knackered to mean extremely tired, while Americans might simply say beat. Exploring these differences can be both fun and enlightening, offering you a broader perspective on how the same emotion or situation is expressed differently across cultures. This kind of exploration not only enriches your vocabulary, but also builds your ability to understand native English speakers regardless of their accent or background. By integrating these insights into your daily study routine, you can truly harness the power of contextual learning and see tangible improvements in your ability to use and recall new words.
Exactly, Ryan. Embracing the world of idioms and phrases is a dynamic way to take your English to the next level. As you continue to expose yourself to varied contexts, be it through movies, TV shows, or everyday conversations, you'll find that your brain starts to naturally link phrases with their meanings. This makes it easier to recall them when needed, whether you're trying to sound more fluent in a business meeting or just chatting casually with friends. Remember, learning these expressions is about more than just memorization. It's about understanding the culture and context behind them, which is essential for truly mastering the language. So, keep exploring, stay curious, and soon enough, you'll be able to understand native English speakers effortlessly, while confidently incorporating idiomatic expressions into your own speech.
So, we've covered 7 practical strategies that can help you expand your English vocabulary effectively. From purposeful reading to leveraging flashcards, practicing the shadowing technique, and immersing yourself in English media, each method is designed to help you build a strong vocabulary naturally. The key takeaway is that learning new words isn't about memorizing endless lists. It's about understanding words in context, using them in daily conversations, and making them a part of your thinking process. Whether you're working on improving your English listening skills or practicing real-life English conversations, consistency is what matters. The more you expose yourself to the language, the more confident and fluent you'll become over time.
Absolutely, Ryan. Expanding your vocabulary is a gradual process, but with the right strategies, you can see real progress. By engaging in daily English conversation, keeping a vocabulary journal, and exploring idioms and phrases, you make learning enjoyable and effective. Remember, don't rush. Focus on steady improvement. Even just 10 to 15 minutes of focused practice every day can make a huge difference in how you speak and understand English. Keep pushing yourself to use new words in conversations, stay curious about the language, and most importantly, enjoy the process. The more you immerse yourself, the faster you'll speak English confidently and naturally.